Hi there, my name's Phil and I'm going to be going through Socrative with you today, which is a tool that we use to help to assess students within our classrooms. First of all, you'll need to be on your web browser. If you go to the address shown on the screen here, b.socrative.com, it will bring you to the screen that you can see. There is also an app which is available both for the iPad and for the Android platform, so if you want your students to use their mobile phones with it, they can do that as well. Getting a free account is dead simple. There's a button down here in purple. Click on that, fill in a very simple form. That'll register you and you've then got an account and you can get started. First of all, I'm going to log into my account. This thing comes in two parts. There is a teacher part and there is a student part. So what you see is actually different to what the students see. And the student part only comes into play when we actually start to run one of the quizzes. But first of all, I'm just going to show you how to create a quiz. They are very, very simple to create in Socrative. And you can, if you've got the questions ready, actually create a quiz very, very quickly. So what I'm going to do, just to start with, is go down to Manage Quizzes. This is where you've got all your quizzes located. Okay, so you can see any quizzes that you've already got, and this does allow you to edit, download, delete, so on and so forth for the different quizzes that you have in existence. If you want to create a new quiz, we can just go simply to the Create Quiz, and that's what we're going to do right now. We name our quiz. Hopefully you'll name it something useful that is relevant to what you're doing within that session. Often with mine, I actually put the past criteria that it's relevant to, as well as the course and subject. So it's just a general quiz, this one, just to show you. There are three different types of question that you can ask within Socrative. There's multiple choice, true and false, and a short answer. And you can use the short answer in a couple of different ways. Our multiple choice, we'll click on that one. We click in the box at the top, and this is our actual question. So, we can ask a question, and we can then set up the different answers for it, and we can choose which one's the correct answer. So I'm just going to put some in here. So I'm just going to leave it at 4, and that leaves me this spare one down at the bottom. If I want rid of it, a little button here called Delete. Okay, so we press that and that gets rid of it. If you want more than the ones that you've got on there, you can add extra ones in, so you can actually put as many or as little in as you want. Okay, so obviously it's the cheater, because some of them don't even fit into the category. So we tick the one that we want. If we want more than one answer available, we could actually tick more than one, so we can get the students to select more than one correct answer. So it's up to you how you use it. You can put an explanation into there if it's a complicated question that you've asked them and that you maybe want to expand their knowledge and extend it further. You can add a little explanation into there as to what you're explaining. You can also add images. So if you're asking them a question on a specific image or picture or what have you, you can upload the image into there and then ask them the question on that. If we want to delete it, if we've decided, oh actually I've done that wrong, there is a little X up here and we can delete it. If we want to add another question, we click on what sort of question we want. So we decide whether or not a snake is a mammal, true or false. You've got to select whether it's true or false, otherwise it won't work. It'll actually crash the program slightly when the students run it. So please make sure that you do choose either true or false. And we can also have a short answer. Now this is the one where you can actually use it in a couple of different ways. We can either leave it as an open-ended question and discuss the result with the student, or we can actually have a set of keywords, if you like, that choose whether or not they've got the answer right or wrong. So if we just pose a question, just a silly one, we can choose whether or not we want yes to be the answer or no to be the answer, or we could leave it as an open question so that when that one comes up on the student screen, you can actually discuss it with all of them. So we can add either yes or no. So if they put no, capitals don't matter, then that would be the answer that was classed as correct when they run the quiz. Okay. If let's say that's our quiz done. So we've only got 3 questions to our quiz. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I can go up to save and exit. Now this will then become part of my list of quizzes, which it's brought up straight away. Okay, so from my dashboard, if I want to get to those, I can go manage quizzes and my quizzes. Okay, if it's not listed in the recent quizzes, you can go to all and it'll list all of them. Okay, so when we want to start our quiz, we can go to that and start it. Okay, so start a quiz. So we're from our dashboard, go to start quiz, choose general. That quiz is now starting. The other element to this is actually the students logging on. And I'll open a separate browser window and I'll show you that. Okay, I've opened a separate browser window. Again, b.socrative.com, and what you should have is student join room at the bottom here. When you've created your account within Socrative, it will give you a room name. Okay, now you can edit that, that's easy enough to do in your settings, but my room name is Philly 138. So when I join that room, it should actually take me to the quiz, okay, and actually show me the activity that I have started. The last thing I need to do actually to start my quiz, because it hasn't started yet, is choose whether it's student-paced, whether the student has navigation, or whether it's teacher-paced. Teacher-paced, you get to choose how fast they go, what order the questions appear in, and when they move on to the next question. Or with student-paced, it's actually immediate. Okay, we can randomize the order that the questions come in so that they're not all on the same question at the same time, and we can randomize any answer order as well. Okay, so when I press start, that should actually start the quiz. So I can see how many questions I've got in my quiz, I can see how many students I've got in there and what their answers are. Okay, we can go into more detail in these and see the students' specific answers once students have started answering. So if I go back to my student, there we go, I can log in as my student and that student will then appear. Okay, so in my results table, there I am now listed in the table. If I put in no and submit answer, it'll tell me that that answer was correct. Okay, like I said before though, you can leave that as an open-ended question so that you can generate discussion within the group. We've got true or false. I can get one wrong. If you get it wrong, it does give you feedback in the bottom if you place feedback in there. And I'll get one right as well. Okay, that activity is now finished. Okay, so it tells you that it's finished and it's waiting for the teacher to start a new activity. What you get as a teacher then is what they did right, what they did wrong, and whether or not they're 100% completed. You could go through these with the students at the end so that you can discuss the results that they've got. If you've got some students or a lot of students who've got one of the questions wrong, you then know to recap on that specific subject area. If they're all getting it right, then you know that they've got that information. But when you're finished, you can click the finish button. Okay, this gives you the ability then to receive the information that you've got on the screen as to who did what, so that you can keep track of who's answered what questions correctly. And if you're using it as a recap tool in the next session, you can see how well they did in the previous session as to how well they're doing in the current session. So you can send those on email, you can have it as a download, as an Excel chart, or what have you. Just for the purposes of this, I'm going to choose the view later option and submit that.